Thanks to my colleague from New Hampshire for her leadership on this, and she's come up with a great proposal. You've heard about it today. This is a way for us to deal with the issue of unemployment insurance extension, to be sure that we aren't adding to the deficit, which would be exactly the wrong thing to do because the record levels of debt and deficit is hurting our economy today. Why would you want to add to it? So we should pay for unemployment insurance if we extend it. We should also reform it, and this gives us time to do that, as Senator Collins has said. Second, it does add to deficit reduction overall because there's net deficit reduction in her proposal. And then finally, it deals with a problem in the budget agreement. I did support the budget agreement. I thought it was the right thing to do. That's been referenced today. One thing that hasn't been referenced is the fact that not only did the budget agreement ensure we weren't going to have a government shutdown, and possibly two this year, but it also provided critical sequester relief for our military, something that all of us have heard a lot about and many of us have talked about. And that sequester relief is about readiness and preparedness, and it's about our troops. So that was important. Finally got Congress back to the business of appropriating, which is our constitutional duty, prioritizing spending and being able to provide the oversight to look into waste, fraud, and abuse. But it was not perfect, and I said that at the time, and I voted for it with the understanding that the chairman of the Armed Services Committee, the chairman of the Budget Committee, and other Democrats were willing to work with us to resolve this issue on military pay. I don't think it's fair, because I think folks were singled out, and I think it's an issue that needs to be addressed in a much more comprehensive way. There is right now a commission that's been formed that will report later this year, we're told, that is doing this pay benefit review in a comprehensive and transparent way. That's certainly appropriate. I also think that members of our military who have sacrificed so much should not be singled out when we aren't comprehensively dealing with the deficit issue. And we didn't in the budget agreement. Yes, it had some net deficit reduction. Yes, it did not raise taxes. There were some good things about it, but it didn't deal with the underlying problem that we face as a country. When we do that, I agree with Senator Saxby-Chambliss, who just said people will step up and be counted, but as part of a comprehensive solution. So I applaud Senator Ayotte for preparing what is a sensible amendment. As she noted, I do have an amendment that deals just with the unemployment compensation, unemployment insurance issue as well. It pays for it, again with the understanding that we shouldn't be adding to the deficit, and in fact what we should be doing is reforming the program so that we can deal with a real problem we've got in this country, that under this administration, under the policies that the Obama administration has put forward, under the policies that Democrats in Congress have supported, we have historic levels of long-term unemployed. It's a problem in Ohio. It's a problem around the country. We need to address it, and by just a Band-Aid approach of extending existing unemployment insurance, we're not going to do that. So let's pay for it. This amendment does that. Let's deal with the issue of our veterans who have served so well and should not be singled out, and let's have a little net deficit reduction. It's a good package. I hope that those of us who voted to proceed to the unemployment insurance extension legislation will actually have our good faith in the process restored, because we did so with the understanding that there would be a debate. We were told that Republicans ought not to block the actual discussion of whether there should be an extension or not, and whether it should be paid for or not, and whether there should be reforms or not. Well, now we have the opportunity this week to do this. We've got plenty of time. We've got all week set aside for this, I understand. Let's be sure that today, I think at 5 o'clock today, something like that, when we're done with this post-cloture period, that the majority leader and those on the other side of the aisle who would like to resolve this issue allow us to have this debate. That's what the Senate's traditional role has been. So this amendment certainly is one I strongly support. There are others I'm going to support. Let's have this debate, and let's ensure that we can help resolve all three of these issues.
Yes.
Senator Collins and you and Senator Portman, the three of you standing here could insist that Harry Reid allow votes for offsets, and I wonder if the three of you would tell him that you will not absolutely vote to end debate unless there are offsets for the UI bill.
I'm not speaking for Senator Collins, but I'll speak for myself and say that we've been very clear about that. And I gave a talk on the floor yesterday about this, Ted, and I think it's important that we get the Senate back to the business of debate and discussion. And one of the amendments I will be offering deals specifically with the unemployment insurance extension issue, in addition to the amendment I'm strongly supporting from Senator Ayotte, and it has to do with unemployment itself, being sure that improper payments are dealt with. This is in the President's budget. The other pay for that I have has to do with double dipping, called concurrent receipts, where you can't receive Social Security, disability, and unemployment insurance and TAA. That concept is in the President's budget. It doesn't include TAA, but it certainly is consistent with the President's budget. So the proposal, narrow proposal I have just for the unemployment insurance side, is out of the President's budget. It's something that in the past has been bipartisan. Let's have a discussion about it. Let's have a debate. And if I know that it's going to be paid for and that we're then going to engage in a process of reform, then I'd be able to support it. But if not, I won't be able to support cloture.
So if there's not an offset approved in advance, you will not vote to end debate on it?
That's correct. I will not be voting for cloture, and I've made that clear. It sounds like Senator Ayotte has as well. So, look, this is, frankly, I think a situation the Democrats had not expected. I think they were surprised that some of the Republicans stepped forward to provide cloture on the motion to proceed. I think they had hoped, frankly, some of them, from a political point of view, that they could, say that Republicans were obstructing. I think we kind of took them by surprise. And instead we're saying, no, we absolutely don't want to obstruct. And by the way, my other colleagues don't either. They're just concerned that because the majority leader has consistently blocked amendments by filling the tree, that would happen again. They had no assurance that wouldn't happen, so they weren't able to support moving forward. Some of us, again, said earlier, in good faith, said, okay, some Democrats are saying that they're willing to look at this. I think Senator Schumer has indicated that he could look at some pay-fors, for instance, a member of leadership. I know other Democrats are working with us right now on my amendment and other amendments. So we took them at their word. Let's see if they keep their word.